Hey YouTube, how's it going? Middle of the afternoon here down under, and I just felt the need to come and speak to you all. So today's rambling is all about something that, again, they don't tell us when they're selling us how to get certified or how to build your courses or programs online. They allude to it in the small print and these days in the disclaimer when they say these results are not typical. Not everybody earns this much money. And I sort of sat there and I was giggling at it because I thought, well, yeah, it's pretty obvious. But then I remembered when I started this business, so I'd finished being a corporate program manager and decided to be a coach. I signed up with a coach, 20 grand cost me, group program, and she was giving me a guarantee that I would earn six figures in 12 months if I did what she told me to do. So I didn't have any thoughts about that in terms of, well, this sounds like it's too good to be true, because I was somebody who was already earning more than six figures a year. So why would it, it's like, of course I will do that. But here's what I found out very quickly in her program. It wasn't well constructed, it wasn't well thought through. It was very obvious she had never run a business other than her own, and that she didn't even understand operational aspect software. And I mean, this was years ago before we had the tools like I use, right? I use FG, which is on high level. If you want to see it, let me know. I'll show you through it quite happily. And anyway, I'm digressing. So what I figured out in that within 3 to 4 months is that A, she was not going to get me to six figures. B, her guarantee wasn't with the paper it was written on. If it had only been written on it, she still owes me 10 grand, by the way, because I decided to pull out. Anyway, why am I saying that? Because then I mucked around for a bit longer, and then I went and worked for a seven-figure coach as one of her coaches, and I got to see exactly why. Some people made a lot of money, and some people didn't even make 1 cent. And she again was selling a very similar program. I'm glad to say that sort of promises is now caveated. And I realized, and this is one of the hardest things I think that it is for us to face, understand, and appreciate. Those that make a lot of money in this business, and in fact, any business, but specifically in a personal brand business. So, for all of us who are coaches, for those of you who are consultants, for those of you who are online course creators, influencers, service providers, i.e., something that sells you. Very different than when you're a corporate employee, or even as I was as a freelancing, we call that contracting, program manager, where I would be working for corporates, but I was self-employed, right? I wasn't a permanent employee, and very different feelings, very different emotions. So, what is the difference that makes the difference? Self-esteem, right? It's your self-concept. It's what you believe you are, who you believe you are. And anything that little, I call him Larry the lizard. If you've been listening to me, you will be familiar with my terminology. What is Larry? Larry is your unconscious mind. It's your unconscious thoughts. It's all of those thoughts that you created when you were just a little bitty baby and you decided to make things mean things that they didn't actually mean. And if you were somebody like me who experienced a less than idyllic, challenging childhood, shall we call it, then you may, just may, have developed some thoughts that weren't conducive to good self-esteem. So somebody might be thinking, like, I'm not good enough. Nobody likes me. Nobody will want what I've got to offer. Nobody's going to buy anything from me. All of that type of rhetoric. I don't know what I'm doing. I've got no value. I can't add any thought leadership to this world. That stuff. And that's Larry the Lizard, because I promise you it's not true. But here's the problem. I can promise you it's not true till the cows come home. If you're not prepared to prove to yourself that it's not true, change your identity, change that little Larry and make him a little bit pleasanter and a little more nice and a little more constructive, then the chances of you making money in this industry aren't high. Ouch. I know. ouch. And look, I say ouch because I took too long to figure that out, right? I wish that I had put the A and the B together. So what do we have to do then? Because it's not all lost. If your self-esteem is giving you thoughts like, I'm not good enough, and all of those, I don't like me, all we have to do is do some identity work. All we have to do is slow our little brains down. And I like to make fun of my brain. And I like to make fun of my brain, which is why I call him Larry, quite frankly, because when I make fun of him, I can then laugh at myself without being critical. Of course, Liz, if you think you're not good enough, you're not going to do sales follow-ups. You're not going to reach out and talk to people. You're not going to create in an environment where you excel because you've got this stupid Larry the Lizard rhetoric going on, which stops you from acting. Nothing wrong here. And I don't even like saying nothing wrong here anymore because that's what freaking AI spits out, right? You're not broken, nothing's wrong. But but the reality is you cannot run two concepts at the same time if something's not true, which is why my think framework that I use inside my club is so invaluable. Because what that helps you do is it helps you to get very clear and very focused on this part of you because we can change it. We are able to change it. I don't believe in affirmations for the sake of affirmations. I don't think you can go from A to B or black and white in one step. I think it takes a lot of little steps to get you there, just like planning, actually, just like building a business, just like learning a new skill. And so, what we have to do is we have to tackle those thoughts because you cannot outperform the way your brain thinks. If your brain has all of this thoughts going on, that might show up in your business, like I alluded to earlier, that you will not follow up on the sales process if you even make offers in the first place, because some of us will spend a year pitching with no pitch. It's what happens, right? It could even be that you've got hundreds and hundreds of really good ideas, but you start them, you get that really excited feeling, oh my God, I've got to put this into the world. But the longer you spend on that one idea, the more you talk yourself out of it. So you go to another idea and then another idea and then another idea. And that's not how you build a business, right? We need to take an idea and we need to put it out there. We need to get feedback. We need to improve it. We need to get more feedback, improve it, more feedback, and then get that launched and landed and then get to the new idea. So, go look at your Google Drive. You might have 150 different ideas that you started. Or you could be somebody who's now become truly reliant on AI. And instead of you writing from your knowing, you tell it and it writes it. That's not going to work either. And then, of course, the biggest telltale is that you have been in different programs and different courses, and you may have even done some coaching, some one-to-one coaching, but you haven't fixed this because we haven't spent enough time on it. And in the programs, you possibly sat at the back and you listened and you learned, and it felt valuable at the time, but you realize now you didn't get what you came for. You didn't get your transformation. And that's what I see happening more and more and more. And I want that to change. And that's why I have my BFF club, because the identity part and the business part got to be smashed together. And so might give you something like I've introduced this monthly dares. So it's you have to do something that stretches you every single month. And if you have a very busy life, so we've not planned a lot of work in that month, and here that's a clue as well, right? Plan for reality. Don't plan for this best version of you where you think you're suddenly going to be working 100 hours a week when you can't even do 20 hours a week necessarily, right? Because of life. So we plan for reality. But anyway, I get back to these dares because here's what I know. In order for you to change your brain wiring, in order for you to grow that side of you that knows what you're capable of, that in fact increases capacity. I've also got a course cited about capacity growth and changing your abilities and scaling up because we have to, right? Business needs our capacity to grow, our capacity for risk, our capacity for learning skills, our capacity for holding a room, all of the things, it's got to grow. So when we are building out our new self identity, the version of us that is a lot nicer to us, the version that sees Larry and Larry's full of fear, right? So Larry's whole job in life is to keep you safe. And unfortunately, Larry's a bit of a dick because Larry thinks keeping you safe is keeping you doing the same things over and over and giving you the same results you've got today. And you wouldn't be listening to me right now if that was enough. Right? You want to build your business. You want to help people. You want to build an income from this. You want more. And so that tells me Larry's got to be quietened and upgraded, right? Upgrade the operating system is how I often say it, because we will want to go and check our thoughts. We want to, does that work for me? Yep, keep it. If it's not working for me, let's upgrade it or delete it. And we have the power when we go slowly. And that's what these dares are about, right? These monthly dares. Because what we want to do is we want to stretch. So it could be something, if it's not business oriented, could be something as simple as I'm going to make sure the kitchen is clean every single day for 30 days in a row before I go to bed. Or it could be a fitness challenge, or it could be you want to dress better. Sometimes I look at how I turn up with my mop of hair and my very little makeup, and usually I'm in my horse clothes or something. I'm like, oh, I should do a style there because trust me, people, that would stretch me. But anything that stretches you in any capacity, which is why life and business to me are conjoined, LB fundamentals. It's not my name, Liz Block. It's because of life and business. I think service brand business owners, you've got to accept you are a reflection of you in your business. So we've got to upgrade them both potentially. And so that's why I love those dares, because you get to play and you get to see your own brain and you get to understand how quickly you want to quit or what your fear of failure tolerance is, or what your fear of success tolerance is. And when it's outside of a business, it's actually quite fun because then you can say to yourself, oh, how interesting. Larry is giving me all of the negotiations now because I said I was going to do XYZ dares and I'm already trying not to do it. So, interesting. And that's the purpose of the dares. Because here's something else that happens with self-esteem. Those that have got skyrocketing self-esteem, like I alluded to at the very beginning of this ramble, those people don't give up. They keep going. They are the ones that will be in your inbox selling to you after you've had one or two conversations with you for months later. They will be the ones that will be committed to creating whatever goal they've put. So if they've put a $10,000 a month goal inside their business, I guarantee you they will get there because they have such a belief in what they're capable in and on what they do, and that they just don't accept no, right? They don't accept no, and they've grown their capacity around risk and around fears and around showing up in a way that somebody who's struggling with their esteem because Larry's got all the blah blah doesn't quite get. But I promise you, you can. It's like everything. We just have to become consciously aware of it. We then need to commit to upgrading it. And I think, honestly, you can't do this work on your own. I tried. I went into all of those programs, like I alluded, because I went to a couple of others after I was the coach as well for the seven-figure coach and saw it very clearly that those with good self awareness, really good identities, a lot of confidence, did so much better than the ones that, quite frankly, were more resemblance of my brain, which is why I am quite good at helping people with this type of brain drama out and get them successful and profitable. Um, those we tend to go into programs, us with the less than ideal esteem, and we tend to hide, or we won't do the work because we have fear of failure, fear of success, or we'll feel like we're making progress because we're learning a new concept, but in reality, we're not applying it, we're not implementing it, we're not using it, we're not building our capacity around all of the things that business building requires. And one of the biggest one, of course, is rejection. So, yeah, be mindful that your brain might offer, I've spent enough money on this coaching bullshit. It's not working. I'm not going to hire another coach. Don't hire somebody who you know, trust, like will get the results. And for me, that means there's got to be, like I do in my club, right? identity work in conjunction with business building work, so that through the business plan that we create together, that has you fully mapped out what we'll be doing over the next 90 days, we can see what Larry's saying ahead of time. And we can start to unpack that thinking, that childhood thinking that is now just old, right? Because Larry's quite old. However old you are, so is Larry. So those are very practiced, very unconscious thoughts that just come to you in moments of stress or moments of doubt. They just flood in, catastrophizing thinking type thing. Those we need to see. We need to shine a light on it, and we need to make a conscious decision, because if we don't, and I hate saying this, I hate it, I hate saying this, but if you don't, then you will still not be successful this time next year either, because that's where the work is. It's never a new strategy. It's never a new tactic. It's not even throwing more money at Facebook ads to get a bigger audience, which is another thing that, I've just had somebody in my inbox telling me, come work with me on YouTube ads. I can make you 100K. And it's like, come on, dude, you've got to fix me before I can do that, because you are you. So yeah, I just don't think we talk about it enough. So if you are committed to building a business and you know that your inner Larry is a bit of a critic, we have to work with him at the same time. We have to upgrade him. Go find somebody who can help you do that. Come work with me inside of my club, or just make sure that you are finding time to work on this. And it's more than just thought work. Thought work. I love thought downloads. I've got lots of tools like that inside the club, but it's the implementation, the execution that actually is like the proof of the pudding. So make sure that's built in. Alrighty, well, that's my ramble. So if you're like me and your little inner Larry doesn't actually have a lot of good things to say about you, you can change it. I have. You can improve it. I did. And the reason I'm saying I have and I did is because honestly, if I can do it, I know you can do it too. It's worth the effort. It really is. It pays you back in so many beautiful ways you can't even imagine. Alrighty, so more details about the club below. If you like this one, if you got some value from it, give me a thumbs up. It's always nice to know that it's starting to get listened to and it's resonating. Otherwise, I will hopefully catch you in the next one. Take care. Bye.